Alright, I've got a problem with the hitch clearance on my forward receiver to where I've got about a 1/2 inch clearance between the front and here. So what I'm doing is I'm going to cut a new hole that's out here, and it could be a little bit closer than what I've got it, but I didn't want this to be too thin, so I'm going for about another 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch outside farther, so that it gives me a little more room and it won't be a weak spot here. So I used this about a 1/8 inch drill. I tapped it with a, or not tapped it, but put a dent in it with the whole center punch and hit it on both sides on my, I use a dry eraser, and I slid it into the receiver where it about went. Then I drilled around that with the dry eraser and then pulled it out. Then I hit the center punch and put the hole where I want it to be. And now I've drilled it a little bit with a 1/8 inch bit, and I'm going to drill it again. Alright, took me about 45 seconds or so to drill through that with a new sharp bit. And when I say new and sharp, that's critical. You definitely want a sharp bit, otherwise it's just a lot of work. Anyway, it was pretty good pressure. I'm going to drill the other side. Alright, the other side's drilled all the way through, and this is a synthetic rope. I just put duct tape over it to funnel all the shavings, keep it out of the rope. You know, it is prone to being cut, so it's always a good idea to keep your shavings out of whatever it is you're working on. So I'll do that. I'm going to go up in the next size bit and hit it with a... Alright, got a hole in it there with a, it's probably a little, about a 1/4 inch bit. I'm going to go to the other side and drill it through. Again, without a sharp bit, this would be really... Alright, I got both of them down to a 1/4 inch drilled through. Those took probably about 1.5 minutes or so, pushing as hard as I could do with all my arms and my chest and everything to get them to go through. Doing it with a hand drill on slow speed, not using any oil. So now I'm going to move up to the next size bit. Alright, got both of them drilled out with, it's probably a 3/8 inch bit, not quite maybe. And got them drilled out again. That's a lot of work, and my arms are starting to show the wear and tear. And if you do this every day, it might not be bothering you, but for a 62-year-old guy, a little tough. Anyway, let me move on to the step bit now. Okay, to make sure that I didn't get this hole any bigger than it needed to be, I took the original factory hole and set it down to where I got masking tape right next to that point to where I don't need to be any bigger than that. So I'll stop just shy of that mark and we'll get her done. The little hole is needing a little more pressure, so I just locked the winch down put a stop clamp on there so it wouldn't stop, so I can be pushing from that side, and then we'll start continue using that step. Okay, pins through there. Hit it with a little bit of black paint, and there we go. There's the mess from it. Duct tape taken off, kept all that stuff out of from cutting up my rope and synthetic rope, so that was good. There's the mess from it, and there it is there. The strip drill works just fine, and should go in there just fine. We'll find out, won't we? Alright, it's in there with a little bit of room. I ended up having to take that dremel and just ream that hole just a little bit to make it fit. But it did pretty good. I just put a metal grinding bit in the dremel and just worked it off just a little bit, and slides in there good and easy. My clearance, of course, is not very high, but I'm not really using this for off-road too much. Mainly to get people stuck in big muddy fields or something, so I won't be driving around with it very far. So it'll just be there for the mount, and then of course I have the receiver in the back as well. So there you have it. And I'll probably just use jumper cables, no more than I'll use it. I'll just use some jumper cables and hook up the battery and get her going from there. So there we go. The reason I bought the bigger winch is it just was a better value, and I would have been satisfied with a little bit smaller winch, 9,000, but for the same amount of money, I got the remote, got the rope on it, and you add it all together, it was just a better value. So that's what I went with.